Hey everyone, today we're going to start off by making an automatic sugarcane dispenser. Sugarcane is an important crop that you can grow that can be used to make paper, to make maps, and it can also be used to make sugar, which is a main ingredient in cake, which is very easy food to make to stay alive in survival mode. We're going to start off by building 5 blocks of sand because that's what you need to grow the sugarcane on, and then we're going to build we're going to cut out 3 blocks above the middle and we're going to place a chest in it. Make sure the chest is facing towards the sand, otherwise this won't work properly. Next you're going to want to cut out all the blocks in front of the sand, and then here I'm going to start making an endless water source for those of you in survival mode that don't have access to unlimited water. If you grab 2 or 3 buckets of water and build a shape like this out of cobblestone, you can fill your buckets endlessly if you wait for it to refill. This is especially helpful if you don't want to have to run to a water source with your bucket every single time, because it can be a very tedious thing to do. Next you're going to build a cobblestone wall behind the sand, and you're going to want to build it too high, and then you're going to want to get pistons and face them towards the chest that you built earlier and line the top of that wall with those. Next we're going to build observer blocks, and we're going to put these on top of the pistons that we built a second ago. What these observer blocks will do is they will wait till the sugarcane reaches maximum height, and then it would trigger all of the pistons to knock over the sugarcane into the water, which will eventually drain into the chest, meaning you won't have to collect it every time, and it will trigger every time the sugarcane reaches max height. You will need redstone to power these, however, so you'll have to build a wall like I just did on the back of the observers and run redstone, which can be mined behind it like I did. Next we're going to build some cobblestone on the sides of the sand and on the sides of the chest to keep the water from flowing out that we will add in a moment. Now we're going to add hopper to the chest so that the sugarcane can flow into the chest. And you're going to want to make sure you attach this to the front of the chest, which can be done by holding the shift button. And then for each additional hopper, you'll want to attach it to the side of the adjacent hopper while holding the shift button. Otherwise it'll open the menu and it won't let you build correctly. Here I'm adding the water, and as you can see I made a mistake. Don't forget this one piece of cobblestone. You'll want to add the water by clicking the front of the sand until it's completely level and doesn't look like it's flowing anymore. Here I'm gathering the glass and the sugarcane necessary to finish this build. I'm going to add the first row of sugarcane here, and then I'm going to build the glass 3 high all around the structure. That way it'll keep the water in the sugarcane from falling out, and you'll still be able to see what's happening inside. Here's where I'll demonstrate how this works. So I'll build all the sugarcane 2 highs, which will be what happens when it grows naturally, and then as soon as one of them reaches the 3rd height, the observers will automatically push the pistons, which will cut the sugarcane down, and it'll flow into the water, which will put it in the hoppers, which will then float into the chest. And so every once in a while you can just come by this chest and pick up as much sugarcane as you can use. Another important crop to grow in this game is wheat, and you will need to build a similar structure, but it can be any length that you want, but it has to have water in between each row for the wheat to grow properly. You can build it on dirt. You'll need a hoe to till the land, which can then take the seeds, which will take time to grow. You're going to want to make sure that you're crouching with left shift while you walk around to till the land, otherwise it will untill the land and destroy your seeds in the process. Here you'll notice that I'm changing the weather using a cheat command so it won't be raining anymore, and then I'm also changing the time to day, that way it's easier to see what's going on. Both of these are cheats accessible in Minecraft Education Edition. Now I'm tilling all the land around the water, which I'll then place the seeds on. You won't be able to see it right away because it takes some time to grow, but eventually the wheat will grow and turn brown, and then you'll be able to harvest it to make things like bread and other types of food. A recent update to the game also added super fertilizer, which will instantly grow your crops, so if you have access to this, you can place it on these crops to grow food instantly. And then once again, as you see, I'm crouching around on there not to mess up the seed growth. There you notice I was failing to add a couple cheat commands. I was trying to add time to the clock to where it would grow instantly, but it wasn't seeming to be working right, so I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I was just not doing it correctly. I'm not going to touch too much on animal farms in this episode, but if you see, I grabbed an egg, and then the chicken that was already in my fence also dropped an egg, so if you right click, sometimes it'll spawn a baby chicken, and you can just keep throwing these eggs until a small chicken comes out, and then eventually the more you have trapped in your fence, they will start to reproduce and make more chickens, which drop eggs that you can use to make food. Thank you for watching this introduction to farming. The next episode will touch on chemistry.